Hi everyone, and welcome to GameGorgon. My name's Indigo.
And I'm Krug, and today we're here to talk to every single person that helped develop Fate of Cthulhu. It's not every single person, but there's a lot of them, and they're here to join us. Thank you very much. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi there. My name is Ed Turner. I am one of the system developers for Fate of Cthulhu. I wrote a bunch of cool monster stats. They're gross and awful, and I had a wonderful time.
Where am I?
You're on.
I'll go in. I'll just jump in here. Stephen Blackmoore, the creative director, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. I wrote the scenarios. Everything that isn't rules, those are mine. So, the good ones are Ed's. just so you know.
Not true.
I'm Sophie Lagacé, and I was the project manager and line developer on this. So if Ed Turner and PK Sullivan, who couldn't be here today, are the chitin of this monster, Stephen is the ichor and the purulent flesh, and I am the words of the Necronomicon.
I'm officially terrified.
How long have you all been working on this project?
2016?
Oh, wow.
15? I'm not sure, because I do have emails from...
That's a long
Yeah,
time.
I do have emails at least going back to the 2016.
No.
It's a little scary.
Now, what was kind of like the deciding factor on wanting to bring, some of the works of H.P. Lovecraft to, a tabletop?
This really is the brainchild of Fred Hicks. He contacted me, and I think he pinged everybody else with the same pitch was, what if Cthulhu were Skynet? We just kind of went on from there.
That's awesome. Okay.
I mean, that's all it was, literally.
I mean, when you have a good idea, you just kind of just go with it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of surreal sometimes because you think to yourself, oh, well, how does this kind of thing happen? And sometimes it's like just as simple as a conversation, and then it just snowballs.
Was there any kind of difficulties kind of making that adaptation, taking Cthulhu and bringing in time travel, or was it just kind of a simple?
I think it was a good fit. We did go through some iterations of the whole how we were going to do the timeline, and we originally had all of the old ones show up at the same time, and that was all in one timeline. And everybody looked at that and went, "Oh, you're out of your freaking mind." Lenny came up with the idea of, what if we just had one and we'll do different timelines for each one of these? And once we had that, it just kind of, turned into a steam train, kept going.
I actually have a specific question about adaptation. In your adaptation of the Lovecraftian kind of mythos, kind of added something of your own, and that would be the corruption mechanic. Can you talk a little bit? I know that during our video we talked about it, but I just kind of want to hear it from you guys, specifically what the corruption mechanic is there for. Why did you decide to go with something unique in that regard?
We were all kind of thinking this at the same time when we started to bring this up and get together and talk about it. Probably was actually one of the first things we actually talked about was we wanted to stay away from sanity. Every Lovecraftian game has sanity, you have sanity points, you have to roll on some DSM-5 chart, and it's always bugged me. Not just because there's a level of disrespect in that bothers me, but also if you're talking about modern day people, if you sit through a Cronenberg movie, you've seen everything the Cthulhu mythos can toss at you. If that doesn't do it, then you're fine. We wanted to still have something that would show that you had a lingering effect by dealing with the old ones and their minions. And
honestly, I think it's a system that is exactly as punishing as it needs to be.
Sure.
And the fact that it's a tempting thing to have your character dive further into, the more you corrupt yourself and the more corruption stunts you get, almost forced to use them because you put yourself in situations where you're like, well, I need to get out of this situation. My mutated arm would be really useful right now.
Resource management, where the resource is your own humanity.
Yeah.
That you put on the line, and you're more powerful if you're a little less human.
Such a finite resource, and that makes me so happy. I can't applaud that choice enough.
Originally, it was worse.
Really?
It was you did something, you got corruption. Well, here's your corruption point.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, well, you got 4 of these, so be really careful, and that wasn't really working out. Oh, hey, 10 minutes in, everybody's dead.
As I'm reading through the rule book still, because I can't stop one half of my brain while the other half is going, I was like, oh, they've already done this. Oh, okay, next one. Oh, they've already done that too. Okay, cool. I was coming up with ideas, and I was like, oh no, they've already come up with these. These are great. Like, one of them, for an example, is the fact that I was like, oh, well, these people that are going through the portal have to be corrupted. Oh, well.
Oh, wait, they do. They are. Yeah, that's something that
mechanic,
happens.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that the players could make this their own. Yeah, we've got these timelines, but you don't need to use them. We've got time travel rules, mostly to avoid shooting ourselves in the foot,
Sure.
with stupid paradoxes and all that. But you don't need to use any of those. But we have mechanics that will allow you to create your own setup, your own timelines.
So I have a question. Of course, this is an interview. This is how this works.
Questions? No.
Why did you guys choose to start the coming of these elder gods in 2020, so close to our current timeline?
Arbitrary.
kind of jumping a little bit. The reason we're talking to you in the first place is the fact that this is all on a Kickstarter, and the only reason we even had access to playing the game is a decision that you made by giving everyone the PDF copy of the game as it stands if you kickstart right away.
The important discussions in the creation of a book like that, the physical process of making the book, if you're going to crowdfund it, is what are you going to offer? We had gone as far as we could with the money we had, so it's not like we were going to ask the public to fund everything. We wanted to be sure that we offered good value for what we were giving, and that I hope that this would entice people to see what else we could give them if they chipped in. Recently, we had a product that we crowdfunded without kickstarting it, the Fate Space Toolkit. That actually funded really quickly, so that now it's in progress, and soon it's going to, soon-ish, it's going to be out in final version. People will respond to getting a good quality document.
The best feeling in backing something early is immediately being able to see the thing, like the results of your. It's almost as if it's a normal transaction at that point, right? Like, I'm just paying to get the product. If there's no art, maybe the page references aren't in the book yet, and it's just like...
What are you talking about? Every page is XX.
Right. Yeah, because you did that weird Roman numeral thing.
Yeah.
I super forgot. My bad. Juxtaposed against, like, the video game industry, which is something we talk about a lot, this is, like, the most transparent and awesome thing that I could possibly imagine.
Yes.
I don't know. I have no complaints about it. It's great.
Yeah, it turned this Kickstarter for me personally from I might back this, I should save this to later, to, oh my God, yeah, there's no reason not to at this point. I love the fact that you decided to do that.
Fred Hicks and Evil Hat in general has a very, very strong transparency policy. It's a way of giving the proof to our readers that if they back this, they're getting something real. There are a lot of failed Kickstarters. We want ours to continue to be successful.
As I checked right before we got in here, I believe you were funded 316%.
Yeah, that seems successful.
Yeah, we have other stretch goals that will be revealed this week.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, no, we're not good. There are things that I want that I have not seen yet.
They're going to be revealed this Tuesday, which I think might be before your. So this will be old news by the time it gets posted.
Hey, if you didn't see that the new ones have been revealed, go check it out. There'll be a link in the description.
So one of the questions we've received: why should we play your Cthulhu game when there are so many out there?
Ours is awesome.
Ours is awesome. Fate is reputed as a game where some people say you can't do horror. I dispute that. I firmly dispute that. The writers of our Fate Horror Toolkit, which is one of the freebies you get if you back at a certain level. Your characters are, in fact, badasses. And You have to be kind of a badass to decide you're going to go against the elder gods, right? So we know that the player characters, they can take a lot of punishment. So the GM doesn't have to have any remorse. Why wouldn't they take all this punishment and nearly die or worse? There are rules for a heroic sacrifice. If your character is going down the drain, you can decide to sacrifice your humanity to in order to become an enhanced killing machine
Or a hugging machine. I mean,
Yeah.
if you've got a lot of tentacles.
Yes, yes.
I recommend the former, though.
Without giving away anything of the horror tooltips that you've put together, right? Is there anything that you can talk about horror within the Fate world?
Oh, okay. What Fate does very well, which makes it very effective at horror, is it allows for much more meaningful stakes than just does my character die, which is almost invariably, and especially in a role-playing game, a boring result. Character death does not move things forward, but character mutation, character changing in uncanny ways, character ruining the future, those are interesting stakes. Those are stakes that are being held over your head the entire time. That's one of the great things about the timeline track. The way it exists is it's so very non-binary in its outcome. It's not just does the world end or not. You very much are in control of how bad is it going to be?
Yep.
Is it going to be worse because you went back in time? Are you going to hit the status quo? Maybe you can make marginal improvements. Maybe, not likely, you can prevent the apocalypse altogether. There's just a lot of outcomes and a lot of room to kind of muddy the waters of how well you're doing because you're making some things much, much worse.
And the other things that we tackled that is not always the case in most other Cthulhu games. We went right there up front. We knew there were things that we discussed right in our original vision discussions. I mean, Lovecraft, is not somebody you would want to imitate in your private life.
In the past, whenever we've talked about Cthulhu and Lovecraftian stuff, I always make sure to say H.P. Lovecraft is a bigot and a horrible person. Crew goes, I don't know why you always have to say that. Like, I don't understand it. And then we were going through the Fate of Cthulhu and the section in which you're talking about, like, go look at the cat's name, and he went and he goes, I super get why you say that every time.
We're geeks, so that means we're dedicated to the things we love, right? We love them to bits and pieces. And sometimes we defend them when they don't need to be defended. Take the good, admit the bad, avoid it, and try to build on what's good. Lovecraft did land on a type of horror that hadn't been done before. It's not that the planet wants to eradicate us, although I wouldn't blame her. But it's just bigger than us. That type of horror was brand new, and it can be very powerful. That doesn't mean we have to take in everything.
I'm super glad someone took a stance on this and made it known. You made the decision to go away from sanity as well.
Right.
It's not just about this one thing. It's also about this other thing. And as we as a society grows and changes and like improves ourselves and sees and realizes these are things that we're doing that is wrong, it's growing upon that. From us to you, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on and talking with us. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it, and I look forward to your adventures.
There will be a link in the description. Check out the link. Check out the Kickstarter. It's up until the 21st. Or sorry, the 20th. Sorry, it's up until the 20th. Kickstarter, if it's something that you want to work on, stay tuned here. We're going to definitely be talking about it more in the future. If you want to just kind of follow Evil Hat's website's going to also be in the description, and their social media. So make sure to check all of that out. Until next time, I've been Krug. Wait, nope. I'm not Krug. See, my mind has been warped. I'm Indigo. You can reach me on Twitter at IndigoQT.
And I'm Indigo. You can reach me on Twitter at KrugQT, or you can talk to both of us at all these social media things down here.
And let's have all of you say goodbye. And what's the best way that people can reach you, if there is a way to reach you?
Oh,
Bye.